But buckle your seatbelts. Here we go. On page 3, paragraph 10, I went back and reviewed the actual video of the meeting, and it starts Jake Lloyd, architect, and the last half of the last sentence was not really what he said. So let me read it the way I put it together from what he said on the video. He stated that this property was part of the original historic district and that the property has never been formally evaluated due to having many pieces added on over time. And the property's historic significance could not be clearly seen. So he certainly didn't say being pierced.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably got that one.
Oh, no, it's one I missed, but okay. Yeah. It's just hard, I think, from the tape for them to see what we said.
Yes.
Would you put that one?
And then two lines down, hearing nothing from the public rather than before the public, I think would be the more appropriate word. And then we jump clear over to page 7. The third paragraph under item 4, the sentence kind of abbreviated, board and bat siding. It should be batten. I don't think we ought to just abbreviate it, even though we knew what it was. This one you probably caught. On down paragraph 7, Dylan Becker, planner 2, stated he was in agreement with Vice Chair, should be Presti, not Porter. Did you all find that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I didn't think I did that. I thought it was Susan.
And then page 8, the next to bottom paragraph, she clarified that the doors were carriage type in style and the doors would blend in with the siding, not build. On page 9, second paragraph, Commissioner Porter inquired about Mr. Tremmel's viewpoint on utilizing pavers, not paper.
Yeah, I saw that and I was thinking to myself, paper, and it wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, it took me a while to think that one through. And the very next sentence, Mr. Tremmel stated that they preferred to use something more pervious or permeable, right. Either word, but not previous. And then down, it's actually paragraph 8. I had to listen to this tape 3 times to try and figure out a succinct way to summarize what Mr. Tremmel said. And there was a response from Commissioner Porter that wasn't captured in the minutes. So I will tell you what I came up with, but this is the best I could do. Mr. Tremmel inquired whether the discussed sidings might be allowed as alternatives to real log siding and the board and batten wood siding, replacing the barn siding. And then Commissioner Porter responded that the commissioners would need to discuss this. That's the most succinct way I could come up with saying that. And it was very wordy and a little difficult to capture on paper. So that would be my suggestion for that. And that's all I had on the minutes.
Well,
Joyce, do you have anything else?
Susan, you got 3 of mine. I just have one more.
Oh.
And it's on page 2 at the very start. And it has me being on the MACH board, and I'm actually on the Mobility and Parking Board, the MAP. It's on page 2, the 1, 2, 3rd, 4th sentence down or paragraph. Commissioner Porter inquired about her involvement on the match board. I'm on the MAP board and mobility and parking. Did you get that one?
Yes, they
okay.
Nodded they got that one. I didn't, but I'm glad you caught it.
Yeah, you got my paper and my piercing, so.
Good, that's what I had. Did anybody else have anything else?
Everything I spoke was accurate.
Okay, very good.
So I would move approval with those changes.
And those changes have been recorded, Dylan? Yep. Okay, and I do appreciate your clarity, Susan, particularly when it comes to description of materials. That can be very important if there's ever any sort of, any sort of discussion further of what was
Good
allowed, or,
point.
what's in the guidelines. So, very good. So Susan has moved to approve the minutes.
And I can second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Approval of minutes from April 6, 2022 regular meeting has been approved. Let's go ahead and go to unfinished business. I do not see anything under this category. Is there anything? No? Okay, very good. Now, we have new business, which is item 2, MCAC 2203, material change of appearance certificate, new construction, 118 Manitou Terrace, and that is Roger Treweek, I believe you say his name, applicant, and that has been postponed.
This item is requested for postponement to the June 1st, 2022 HPC regular meeting. That's to allow time for the submittal of a subdivision waiver. This request was previously approved by the Historic Preservation Commission in 2020. That approval has since expired. The turnaround was so short between the submittal deadline and the noticing in the paper that the notice for the paper went out and the property was posted before we discovered that there was a subdivision waiver that also expired and needed to be amended. So in light of that, the applicants have requested postponement of the MCAC request to allow a better timing for the approval of the subdivision waiver.
And I would make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, this has been postponed to the June meeting, and I can understand Roger's position on that. Other business. 5.1, item 3, notice of council action. Item 3, proclamation 0822, Archaeology and Historic Preservation Month of 2022. City Council heard this item at their regular session on May 3rd. An update will be provided at the meeting.
So City Council heard this item last night. They did approve the proclamation by a vote of 7-0.
Very good. And do we need to take an action on that?
No.
Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Item 4, HD 2201/ordinance ORD 0822, Historic District Modification, Commercial Core Subdistrict, 10 Old Man's Trail and 487 El Paso Boulevard. City of Manitou Springs applicant. City Council heard the recommendation forwarded by the Historic Preservation Commission and the subsequent ordinance to amend the boundary at first reading on May 3rd, 2022. An update will be provided at the meeting.
So last night at City Council reviewed the HPC recommendation regarding the district modification of the Commercial Core Subdistrict. They upheld the recommendation by a vote of 6-1. The subsequent ordinance that would actually change the boundaries was passed at first reading also by a vote of 6-1 and will go to second reading on May 17th at the regular council session.
Very good. I'm glad to see council has upheld our decision on what is the Hiawatha Garden property. Okay, item 5, ORD, ordinance 0922, an ordinance amending section 17.04.050A 3E of the Historic Preservation Regulations regarding administrative approvals for minor amendments to MCAC requests. City Council heard this item at first reading on May 3rd of 2022. An update will be provided at the meeting.
So this was the ordinance that removes the section for administrative approvals to previously approved MCACs. That was approved at first reading by council last night by a vote of 7-0. Second reading will be scheduled for May 17th.
Okay, very good. And it sounds like it'll probably move forward after that, and that kind of reflects on Commissioner Presti's diligence on reading the minutes and catching some of the typos. It can be important if somebody comes back and there is some sort of debate on the request and the materials that have been used. Are there any other items on our agenda for this evening?
Doug, I have a question.
Certainly.
And I assume it might be on a future meeting agenda. On the McLaughlin cabins, when it was out of the historic zone, they were going to demolish some structures on the land. Now that it's back in the historic district, are we involved in getting evidence for those buildings that were built in the 70s or 80s to be torn down?
Yep, so if they are wishing to move forward with those demolitions, it'll have to come before the Historic Preservation Commission for that approval, as well as any exterior modifications to those cabins.
Yes, it is my understanding that the demolition of any building in the city of Mantua Springs requires a demolition permit at the least, and a property improvement permit that would require some sort of review by planning. But yes, and the real answer to that is that the McLaughlin Lodge property was never removed from the historic district. It's always been part of it since I believe 82 was when it was brought in, 1982.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I remember them saying that they were going to come down, and I didn't know if they realized they still had to come to us.
Yeah, I think they're looking at a couple of the more modern buildings, and in my eyes, no love lost there, but because they were ugly from the get. But there's a couple of the little cabins that are unfortunately very degraded and very bad condition. They may come to us to ask to see those brought down, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah, it is my understanding they're only looking to demolish 3 of the structures, and they are more modern. But they still are going to require HPC approval to do that.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. Thanks, Doug.
You got it, Joy. Thank
I
you.
have nothing else.
Okay, any other commissioners have any questions for this evening's meeting? Very good. Well, I would, before we close, like to thank staff and thank everyone who set this up, and the hybrid part of the meeting has been seamless, and thank you for coming, and I will adjourn the May 4th, 2022 regular meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission at 6:15.
It's a record.
There you go.
Sorry, Doug, I think you have to move to adjourn.
Oh, I will move to adjourn. Would anybody like to second that?
I'll second it.
You'll second it, or do I have a third? Okay, do all vote to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.